recall any of your troubled moments in life 10 years back, 15 years back, and see what were the results of those troubles. Now you're smiling at them. You must have learned something out of it. You must have become something out of it for which you are proud. And I had so much of trouble a few years back, and see, I've learned from that. To become stronger, you need some sort of stress. You need some sort of challenge. When this stress and challenge is beyond the capacity of our tolerance, our bearings, it is at that moment that we become weaker. So the whole idea of yoga and mental wellness is to make our being, make our moral fabric so strong that we can resist all kinds of ups and downs in life. Simply put, if I may conclude it in one sentence, the cause behind mental illness is the polarization between mind and the heart. Heart says something, mind says something. When this polarization also extends between two members, for example, husband and wife, or boss and subordinates, it is this polarization that always creates friction and tension. So what to do about all this? A greater understanding is required between a couple, between a boss and a subordinate, and between my mind and my heart. And how am I going to have right understanding unless and until I have right thinking process? I need to study the situation from all angles. Why did my boss get angry? Why did my wife or my husband got angry with me? Instead of retaliating, postpone your anger, postpone your reaction as much as you can, and reflect on it for a few minutes by pausing. Best time is at bedtime. So all our reactions should be, let's postpone till the night when we are able to go to sleep peacefully and reflect on it. Where did we go wrong? How did I misunderstand this situation? And next day, if you are wrong, be courageous enough to apologize. Only then we are going to have harmony. And it is the harmony that prevents further escalation of stress, anxiety, and depression. So I do strongly believe that it is this mismatch between the feelings of the heart and thoughts of the mind. That's one aspect. Second thing I wanted to share with you is about suicide. Suicide rates are increasing in every state rather. Gujarat, I think, is quite high also. Little quarrels here and there at family level, some financial problem, some love-related problem, somebody shouted at another family member, expectations not going. But again, to put it simply, when your hope is challenged and you feel, no more, even my hopes are crashing right in front of me, that's when people take the ultimate step. Hopelessness. Now, when a person has already become the hopeless, it is already too late to reverse this thought process. Similarly, once the escalation has happened and there is a stress between two individuals or multiple individuals, it is also too late to remedy the situation. I have seen many cases who come to meditate. Say, sir, I am very depressed. Can you help me? There are methods. But if they do meditation on their own alone, during the meditation, instead of thinking of that object of meditation, they cannot regulate their mind. Somehow their thought process gravitates towards the problem they already have. So it's too late actually. When you already have this anxious mind, depressed mind, schizophrenic mind, it's already too late. Of course, we should not be so discouraged that what am I going to do next? Of course, we can solve it, but it takes longer times. And also, we have to find out whether this depression, is it simply physical or emotional or physiological. There are vast differences. Suppose you enter home after a day's work. You are stressed, you are angry at something. God knows why you are angry or upset. Moment you enter the house, your temperament is different. Your wife, your spouse, your children can recognize Papa or Mommy. Something is wrong with you. So, in order to get out of this such a state, we do offer a special meditation. We call it Anta Suddhikaran. We call it how we clean our inside. There is a very specific yogic method, and our trainers can happily train you to do this. Just sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just before you interact with other family members, soon as you reach home, just undergo this process for 10-15 minutes and see how fresh and lighter you become, as if you just got up from the sleep, despite of your stressful day. A lot of people have not understood this concept of acceptance and joyful acceptance. We all go through trouble. Of course, we all rebel when we go through troubles. Recall any of your troubled moments in life 10 years back, 15 years back, and see what were the results of those troubles. Now you're smiling at them. You must have learned something out of it. You must have become something out of it for which you are proud. That I had so much of trouble a few years back, and see, I've learned from that. And when those troubles are in the now, at present, get shaken, just witness it, invoke godly help, go through the session with a smile. We can have different approach. You may not accept, you may fight with it, fight with the situation and make the life worse. And what do you learn out of it afterward? Nothing. When problem comes and we fight like hell with it, we don't learn anything from the problem. But go above it a little bit, observe it, analyze the problem, witness with the help of Master, see what happens to that problem. It will get resolved in such a nice way. You'll keep smiling that, wow, though I had a problem, with the help of God, I am able to tackle it with a smile. When we accept the problem, we are able to solve it and we can smile. If we don't accept the problem will still remain, but we will not learn anything from that problem. In fact, we will become bitter. That does not mean that we will invite problems. Don't do that either. Let sanskars unfold on their own, naturally. Saints in the past used to pray to God for giving them more and more troubles and miseries so that they maintain remembrance of the Lord all the time. Well, extrovert persons are generally very jovial. They don't think too much about themselves. Not in a negative way, but they're not very selfish. Introvert person can be selfish, and you can never judge an introvert person in life. Introvert persons are very reserved. They are not outgoing type. They are reserved because of whatever reasons. There could be millions of reasons for one being introvert. But is a person born introvert or extrovert from day one? I think if you analyze this further, you will stumble upon such beautiful theories to establish why this person is extrovert and why this person is introvert. It has mostly to do with a life which was led before this life. Because in such a short span of, let us say, 5 years or 6 years or 8 years or 10 years, nothing remarkable that has happened that can make a person so introvert that doesn't speak to an outsider, or that makes a person so extrovert. Nothing that flamboyant that happened in that family that to make this person almost like an actor. So the roots of this extrovert or introvert nature lies in other previous lives that we have lived. Now, extrovert nature and introvert nature, they have nothing much, I would say. They don't have much to do with the mind. It has everything to do with the heart. Controls it. Heart, if it is hurt, it will tend to remain introvert. Heart, when it is joyful, there are moments when it will try to express it. Some of us can be introvert at times and sometimes extrovert. And that also depends on our heart's condition, emotional status of the heart. When a familiar person comes to you, when a person whom you love has suddenly appeared in your life, you start sharing so many things. Person might say, oh, you never talked like this, but you see, the person who has come has changed the way you behave and the way you talk. It doesn't see or he has made you extrovert. Now, similar thing can happen where you are so extrovert, jovial, but meeting someone or having a certain situation in life can totally make you totally opposite. So, there are possibilities that introvert can become extrovert. And that's quite natural. Now, how do you justify that with the past lives? There are patches of introvertness and there are patches of extrovertness. That also depends on the past karma that we carry. Life is not uniformly sorrowful or happiness. It is full of these mixed things. And again, these mixed patches of garden or desert that we have created in the past through our thoughts and actions, and which again get reinforced if we don't use restraints in our life. There are times when you say, I'm so jovial, and you feel like sharing so many things to the world. But if you are careful and apply restraint in your life, you'll create a wall so that you don't overdo extrovertism. Likewise, introvert, moment you become aware that you're so introvert and you have the capabilities of getting out of this introvertness, you can spring out of it. Use your willpower. And then you can become just fine, you can say. So the idea is not to be too extrovert or introvert, but to somehow balance it. As needed, we should act up. On a theater, or if you're acting on a stage and say, oh, I'm going to remain introvert. It's fine if you're acting as an introvert, but a romantic scene and you become introvert, your acting will fail. So one has to know whether you're acting or leading a real life. Balancing both is the best thing.